Another tragic attack in New Orleans, seemingly of someone that was radicalized. Details are still coming out. Over 15 people have departed, unfortunately. Tons of people are hurt. This is on New Year's Day. I want to say this is in the wee hours of probably New Year's Eve after the countdown.
It was 3 a.m. in New Orleans.
3 a.m. So people are still out partying
Yep.
in the Mardi Gras district. This is the information that we have now. Go ahead and play this.
3 a.m. local time, there were still crowds of people on Bourbon Street celebrating the new year when a white Ford pickup truck turned off of Canal Street, appears to have gone around a police car that was blocking the street up onto the sidewalk and then sped down Bourbon Street, plowing into the crowd of people, killing now 15 people, according to the local district attorney, and injuring another 24 at least. The authorities say that as soon as that person exited the vehicle, he began firing at responding police officers. In fact, they had been responding to calls of shots fired, and 2 officers were struck by gunfire. They were taken to area hospitals in stable condition. Once police.
So what they're finding out is, this is what's confirmed now, 42-year-old suspect. He was a citizen from Texas.
Yeah.
The initial thing, again, on the folks, you know, everything becomes a migrant issue. And there is real migrants that have committed real heinous crimes. That's not what this was, but that's how it was framed initially, unfortunately. This was someone that had an ISIS flag found on the back of their vehicle that the FBI initially wouldn't confirm. Now it's been confirmed.
Yep.
And this is someone that seems to have been radicalized, I'm guessing, by Islam, either over the internet or maybe he ended up traveling. And there's still some questions about who he is, but it seems like he's like a real estate guy with some videos and all kinds of weird stuff.
We'll get there.
Okay.
And the truck was rented off of Turo.
Get out.
Yeah.
That's random.
That's dark. This guy took this man's truck.
Yeah.
That's very un-American.
Yeah.
You know, that's how you know he was part of ISIS.
Yeah.
Took another man's pickup.
Yep.
He shot and killed the suspect. They also discovered a number of IEDs. At least 1, 2, maybe more of them have been determined to be viable. And at this hour, the police are still conducting a search of the French Quarter, maybe even beyond, to see if there are any other devices that may have been planted. The suspect has been identified as Shamsud Din Jabbar, 42 years old. He's a U.S. citizen who had been living in Texas, but the authorities are also checking potential local ties to New Orleans. And in fact, there's some reporting that the police have been at a location where the suspect may have been staying, or at least that's associated with the suspect, as they continue to understand his potential affiliations. They do see that there was what the FBI is now calling an ISIS flag posted on the truck. So that gave them an early clue as to where inspiration for this attack may have come from.
They zip-tied the ISIS flag.
Yo, why'd they zip tie that, man?
I don't know.
That's so weird.
That's so cringe.
Because they got a picture of them taking a picture of the flag. Like, that's on X. I don't understand why they would zip tie or try to conceal the flag. So this is who is supposedly the suspect. And I'm not going to lie, some of these pictures don't look very consistent. You know, like the guy in the latter two don't look like the guy in the first two.
I mean, sunglasses and weight will do that to you.
Yeah.
And a little bit of more beard. And then we got a... Oh, is this not... Did I lose it?
You can close that one out.
Oh, I thought I had my...
Oh, there it is.
So that's him from the video.
So he was running a real estate agency, I want to say in Houston or in Texas or something like that.
Yeah, I think something like that.
And
he was also recently divorced and selling weapons on the internet.
Last Mardi Gras, this happened to an extent, maybe not terrorism, but still people getting hit in mass population with vehicles. Those barricades were not up, period. They had the flimsy orange ones that you could just push over with your finger. We actually thought it was kind of odd because usually when you get to Bourbon Street, you can turn your back to Canal and not worry about anything. You can just walk the street, especially on New Year's.
So he went over barricades. This would be like completely violating all the little parameters they got set up on an area that's supposed to be kind of walkable.
I saw the video.
Ooh, you watched the video
of him turning onto the street.
Uh-huh.
So he's in traffic. Then right, so there's all the traffic going this way. It's like going across. He's driving with the traffic, and then there's a roadblock into a through street that cuts through here. So there's a police car, a bunch of people, and he goes, say this is the police car. He goes here, and then there's a gap on the sidewalk. Goes boom, gasses it, hits a bunch of people right there on the sidewalk, and then floors it and starts taking off.
My gosh.
So there was like a cop car situation barricading it. But
Go ahead, play a little bit more.
Yeah, they didn't have the big.
There were still vehicles coming after 8 p.m. And then, I mean, the fact that they never raised them. That's how this guy was able to get down Bourbon Street so quickly.
Those barricades.
These barricades they didn't have up.
Oh, I wonder why. That's weird.
Yeah, I have no clue. So
And caused so much damage. Because there's other barricades past the Canal and Bourbon intersection. There's more like every 2-3 blocks. So what was 10 or 15 dead and 30 wounded could have only been maybe 5 and 15. I mean, who can say, but it definitely would have been minimalized because this truck could not go around those barricades.
So I think for me, one, the brain rot with some people and how they're addressing this. If you go, David Wood had something interesting up on, I retweeted it. Just go to my timeline. Candace Owens just agreed that the Palestinian Camp Salah that since Shamsuddin Jabbar, the New Orleans terrorist, had an ISIS flag, he was an ally of the United States and of Israel. She said this after our ally killed at least 10 people.
So this is the tweet for context. Well, he was flying an ISIS flag, so at least we know he was an ally of the U.S. and Israel, kind of like, being tongue in cheek. And then Candace Owens is like, sad but true.
He's completely got brainworms, bro.
Yeah, she got brainworms. She's cooked.
She's cooked. So here's the crazy part. Much like the last topic we hit with regards to the how people are getting radicalized online, meaning there are people that are against good immigration, high-skilled immigration, right? People that follow me that like lost it in my comment section about America needing to be white, America needing to be European. These are folks that have followed me for a while, and I'm literally an immigrant, and now they're telling me I need to go back to my country and I don't belong here and I'm not a real American.
Crazy.
So in the same way, those folks, what do you think they were radicalized? They were radicalized on the internet.
Oh yeah,
right? That the internet is, if you're going through a rough time, if you're going through a rough season, if you're going through a divorce or whatever, you can be a person that's a good person. And then completely lose your mind. And I'm seeing it in real time with people that are like, why are you following me? You're saying the most heinous, nasty things to me on X. Why are you even following me?
Yeah.
And they could have been following me for 5 years. They could have been following me when I was doing music, right? But this is what happens is anyone is liable to get radicalized on the internet if they're not careful in terms of what they're consuming and the narratives they're feeding themselves. This is just the most radical, overt version of it.
Yeah.
But it's happening in the far right spaces. It's happening in the far left spaces with the Antifas, in radical environmentalism. There are people who completely lose their brain, lose their mind, and it's sad. And it's important that the voices you're allowing in and the content that you're consuming, what are you listening to? What are you meditating on, right? Philippians says that whatever is noble, whatever is true, whatever is good, fixate your mind on such things. And if you are just watching rage bait, just watching stuff that's pointing out us versus them, they're bad, we're good, your brain is going to get fried, man.
Yeah.
Your brain is going to get fried. And then before you know it, people are going to keep pulling on them threads. And then you're not going to be sure if the earth is flat or not. You're not going to be
Or you mean round.
Or round or flat, like Candace Owens vibes.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're going to completely
Everything's
lose
alive.
it. Everything is alive. There's a big shadowy cabal. The Jews are at the bottom of it all, and they want to get you and they want to take you out and they want to harm you and you can't get ahead. That's the conclusion that people are going to slide into if you're not careful. So it's like, be careful what you're listening to. This is a hyperbolic example of this, right? But it could be way more subtle. Like it could be one of those like, I don't rock with Indians anymore. I don't rock with black people anymore. Like this stuff happens and it's crazy, you know?
I rock with black people.
There's like a lot of the red pill content.
Yes.
will stir a hatred and an aggression towards women.
Well, now
Hypergener-
Myron is completely off the trail,
Anti-Jewish.
and he's anti-Jew,
Right, so you
and
go
he's
from-
anti kind of black too.
You go from disliking
Yeah.
disliking women and hyper generalizing women, and you have this all or nothing type of thinking, and then
Yeah.
you can't detangle that from, oh, now it's the Jews, and then it's all black people, and it's like you just start dislike, and that's what you become known by. You become known by the things that you're against.
Yeah.
You know, you become known by the things you're against, and it's not just the red pill, and it's not just the far right spaces. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Anyone is susceptible to this stuff if you're not careful. And so be careful with what you're consuming. What are you allowing into your spirit? And is it presenting you hope? And is it presenting you beauty? Is it presenting you something uplifting and encouraging? Or is it presenting you the same narrative that you can't get ahead, you're bad, the world is against you, everyone's against you, there's a shadowy cabal that doesn't want you to get ahead. And this is the passage that I'm referencing, right? Philippians chapter 4, verse 8, it says, finally, brothers, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put it into practice, and the God of peace will be with you. Okay? And so that, in my opinion, is the antidote to these sorts of things, is what are you allowing in? What are you entertaining? Are you entertaining ideas and thoughts that are anchored in a Christian worldview that are going to help you grow and mature and take more agency over the controllables? Or are you consuming things that are going to tell you that you don't have control, that the world is against you, that everyone's out to get you? What you believe about the world will determine how you behave. If you believe these sorts of things, you will start to slide into some of these toxic tendencies, and it may not manifest itself the way it did for this gentleman in New Orleans, but it can harm you. It can harm real relationships, real friendships, real opportunities. Your own soul could be damaged in the process if you're not careful with the things that you're allowing into your spirit. So, and one of the best ways that you can allow good things into your spirit is by checking out our Bless God Summit happening March 27th, 28th, 29th. There's a little more information on that. Excited to bring you guys our very first 3-day conference called the Bless God Summit happening March 27th, 28th, 29th in Southern California. And at this conference, we'll have your very own Preston Perry.
Me as an evangelist, I've made it up in my mind that I'm not going to leave people with an excuse not to serve Jesus.
Dr. Sean McDowell.
If there's one thing Christians should care about, it's truth.
Our vision with this conference is to equip, empower, and inspire people to do the work of the ministry that God has for them in this time. And at this conference, we'll have your very own Alan Parr and his wife, Jim Parr.
The number one reason, people want to get divorced because they want to find someone else who can make them happy. Now, what they don't realize, they're chasing the wind.
John McCrae from What Do You Mean?
What you may be shocked or you may not be shocked to know is that the majority of Christians in America, they don't know how to articulate the message of the gospel to non-believers.
Lila Rose.
Love and marriage go together, that sex and marriage go together, that sex can bring life into the world, and that's an amazing thing, that's not a bad thing.
Trizzle Fitness.
Most people fail at dieting because they're just trying to lose weight too fast. What are you in such a rush for?
But where a lot of people get stuck is figuring out what it looks like to walk in that. And so these 3 pillars of our conference will be covering everything from apologetics to family in the home and the marketplace, and how you can lean into those 3 pillars to discover your calling on this side of eternity.